The Jemicy School is a lifesaver.
A place where it's safe and you don't have to worry about the different types of learner you are.
To be able to be an environment where students can come to school every day and be recognized for their strengths at the same time as they're learning to develop their areas of growth is pretty amazing.
It means that you are surrounded by a group of people that support and that want to help every idea that you have grow and bolster those ideas.
You've got kids that are so smart that you have to appeal to their intellect while you are working on remediating the skills that are weak.
One of its great assets is it's flexible. It gives children opportunities to learn in a variety of ways.
Jemicy's mission statement, "It's no good knowing the taste of strawberries out of a book," that just permeated everything about the school.
It is a unique place in the world where children really get to be who they are in an environment that allows them to develop those special talents that children with dyslexia have.
Jemicy, in their motto, I guess you could say, is experience the joy of learning, and I feel like that really explains how Jemicy is.
There are hundreds of bright, creative, dyslexic children who are going to be given the opportunity to reach their fullest potential.
It's a place that celebrates who they are, does not try to change them, but really allows children to accept who they are, know their strengths, know their areas of growth, and gives them the self-confidence and motivation to go out and tackle the world.
My name is Joyce Bilgrave, and I've been involved with the Jemicy School since its inception 40 years ago.
Joyce Bilgrave ran a summer camp for a population of dyslexic kids out at her farmhouse in Baltimore County.
And they had a wonderful summer and they learned to read. And then they'd go back to school and it'd be a horrible year. Yes, they made progress, but all that self-esteem that they developed was wiped out. Parents said, why can't we create a place? Why can't we keep summer camp going all year? Our kids are learning.
They had asked Roger Saunders first if he would start a school, and he said, no, I would not. But David Malin and Joyce would be wonderful for this starting of the school.
This is fabulous for our kids. They make such great gains. You target so many of the important points in their learning.
So this is where this started, with that, with a group of interested parents that wanted to see this kind of education.
Joyce Bilgrave and David Malin were founded in the understanding that we built a school for the child, the individual child, so that we would support their learning needs and adjust our programs to the way they needed to learn.
And I can't think of Jemicy without thinking of David. He was an incredible, wonderful man. Now, when David and I were first starting thinking and talking and planning this school, said to Roger, who can we get to guide us with this? And he said Margaret Rossum. So we were extremely fortunate to have these really top people in the field of dyslexia.
This is the opportunity most of them wouldn't have typically in schools because the ability wouldn't be recognized.
The dream really for David always to have a place for kids.
And from that dream and from that soul, we have developed into the leading school in the country to children who have dyslexia. Dyslexia is the most misunderstood learning difference.
Having dyslexia is a challenge, and you feel like that you're in a world with people who don't understand what dyslexia is.
My children were at a preschool, and the teacher pulled my wife at the time and myself, and they said, they just don't behave like the other kids do in the group. And I looked to my wife and I said, they're fine, they're just like me.
One of the things that's fascinating about dyslexia is that everybody's experience of dyslexia is different.
To me, disability means you can't do something. And a learning difference means I just learn differently from everyone else.
They don't have a comprehension issue. In fact, they understand people, they understand the world. We are really talking about students whose brains don't make those natural connections for learning to read and language. Because remember, we created language. It's not a natural thing for our brains to acquire.
I always had a fear of reading, especially aloud.
If you're asked to read out loud in the class, in a conventional classroom, you might be embarrassed that you have to take an extra 2 seconds to digest a word.
I was often told I'm not trying hard enough, you're not putting your full effort.
Learning to read or learning to do anything in an environment where you're constantly saying, no, that's wrong, defeats you and you end up hiding.
I needed to rely on my strengths in high school. I came to school just because I could draw.
I have very slow processing speed, so and that means what slow processing means is that I may know an answer to a problem, but it'll take me much longer to get there. And at other schools, they may think, oh, this kid's not smart, or oh, this kid doesn't know it. But at Jemicy, they give me the time and the tools I need to complete my work.
So when I got to Jemicy, I felt like I was a part of a family.
I came in 5th grade, and I was at like a 2nd grade reading level. 6th grade, I was at my 6th grade reading level, so we jumped 6 grades in 1 year. It blows my mind every time I go back and think about it.
People that have any language-based learning difference are really creative, outside-of-the-box thinkers, and they're really the kind of brains that are going to be the most useful in the 21st century.
When you get into it and start rolling around into what dyslexia is, you begin to go, wow, they do have a gift. They see things, and whether it's just by learning the process or a natural instinct of it, they see things differently.
The more I've been at Jemicy, I've come to find that the dyslexic mind just approaches life from a clean slate.
I truly believe that every person that has this gift of dyslexia has something else to share.
Every child is caring, every child is kind.
It's never a dull moment dealing with dyslexic students and how they search to find success.
Jemicy was a place where you actually wore dyslexia as a badge of honor.
Dyslexia is an advantage. It's a term I enjoy. It's a term that I use to identify myself as a person and a learner.
My boys have learned not only to achieve, but to dream and to have confidence that they can do anything.
How Jemicy helps students overcome dyslexia is saying to them there is no cure.
It teaches them to deal with them and how to cope with them.
You need to accept who you are in your learning difference. You need to know your strengths. You need to know your areas of growth. You need to be your own self-advocate in the world and let nobody tell you you can't.
Jemicy teaches strength, it teaches endurance, it teaches students to believe in themselves and to persevere.
They're encouraged. The environment surrounds them with, it's okay to be wrong. You're going to learn. That's why you're here. We're not going to make you feel bad that you don't know. We're here to help you.
And the truth is, in life, we learn more from what we get wrong than what we get right.
We always say that what we do at Jemicy is not special education, it's just good education. I think what we do is we teach children the way children need to be taught.
When you walk through the doors, you're constantly learning new stuff, learning new techniques.
Jemicy gave me the freedom to be able to, explore the things that I became passionate about as I got older.
One way that Jemicy helps students confront their dyslexia is by presenting a variety of possible ways to learn.
This is an institution of higher learning, and they encourage these teachers to not only just look at one solution, but a whole basket of solutions for these kids.
At Jemicy, you're taught to think outside of the box. You're taught, you don't just memorize it and spit it back, but you actually think about it and figure it out.
The way that Jemicy does that is to teach skills specifically that will make you a lifelong learner, not just throw you a life preserver and get you through a course. You're going to learn those reading skills, you're going to learn those writing skills, and the research skills.
A unique aspect of Jemicy also is their ability to find where each kid succeeds.
What do you want to be when you grow up?
I really want to be like an actor. I want to take care of pets or be a singer. I want to be a dancer when I grow up, a teacher or a designer.
What's been the mainstay is the opportunity for teachers to create in their classrooms.
One of the things that's amazing, especially about our English department, is that students get to interact with language in a hands-on way.
The teaching method and the environment in my classroom is pretty freewheeling. We're allowed to take our class, size them up, determine what works for them, and build in strategies for those specific students.
At Jemicy, we're able to utilize whatever methodologies we need to use with our students.
Scott Merrill was my social studies teacher in 5th grade, or I group, as we call it at Jemicy, and he was so amazing. His teaching styles were really fun, and I learned a lot from his class.
He was able to teach my children to memorize all the states, all 50.
If you look on your average typical United States map, if you follow the Mississippi River, it actually makes a outline of a man. And so I used to tell the kids that, you know, his hat was a little can of Pepsi or mini soda, whereas I was Iowa. The little guy was sick, so he was in misery. His butt was tired, so our cans are sore. So you kind of work down where you have Minnesota, Iowa, Missouri, Arkansas, and you work down. And again, you know, I just challenge you to go look at a regular map. You'll see an outline of the Mississippi River, and it makes a little man.
If it's an experience, if it's using a manipulative, if it's writing on a table in shaving cream, whatever we need to do to get our students to understand a concept and to be successful, we have the freedom to do that.
For the children and I, we refocus, we recenter, we restart our bodies. Yoga in the classroom brings the child back to their centered self as an individual.
If you sit in a classroom at Jemicy, you say to yourself, I wonder why we don't use these techniques in every school for all children.
They encourage you to go to the stream, play in the woods. Matter of fact, it's a prerequisite to have rubber boots in 1st grade.
As long as you're able to take a dyslexic student that is so challenged in learning to read or write or do math or whatever else that it is, if you give them something that can excite them, that they can run with, it just impacts their self-confidence and everything else.
The first time I walked into the school, they gave me a handshake, said, welcome, we can help you with everything.
Before I came here, I couldn't even read. And I was very nervous when I had to talk in front of the class, and I never liked to participate.
I didn't even know I liked writing until I came here, and I just found out that I liked it.
Our goal in the arts department is to really look into the unique relationship Jemicy students have with the arts. It's an opportunity for me to get to see how our students perceive the world. The art classroom is one where so many Jemicy students show up, had no idea that they were skilled in the arts, and are able to fulfill potential that they didn't even know existed. When I think about that traditional dyslexic brain with the enlarged visual cortex, that's the reason why my students are so strong in the arts. They're producing work that would fit into any college art portfolio.
Self-advocacy in Jemicy is when a child learns their learning style and the way they learn, and knows what they need to be successful in a competitive academic environment.
Any method that a student can self-advocate is a method that's going to work for them.
They just teach you in a way that helps you learn the best that you can learn.
My name's Derek Arnold, and my project is how a telephone works.
You're taught to ask for help. You're taught to know who you are as a learner, but mainly you're taught to believe.
That's pretty much what Jemicy lives by, and I am ecstatic to be a part of a community that has a real joy for learning.
I love the kinetic sculpture race. Every year, we have a day where our students participate in a citywide competition.
Where different companies, universities, schools are challenged to create a vehicle that can, with no motor, they can go on land, in water, through mud, sand.
I'm a kinesthetic learner, so hands-on approach really helps with me.
They learn physics, they learn design. All the theory that's out in the textbooks becomes alive to them and practical, which is what they need in life.
The multiple different experiences and stories that I have through KSR are with me even now.
I probably shouldn't say this on tape, but it's too late now. I've never coached a winning team at Jemicy, but I was really, really close. But the cool thing about, with Jemicy, they say it, but it's true, is it's not about the score or the scoreboard. It's watching the kids delight in each other and support each other and encourage each other towards victory.
Here at Jemicy, the winning spirit is to play fairly and play hard and do your best.
Playing lacrosse for the upper school is just a blast.
One of my most rewarding moments at Jemicy has been coaching. We won our last game this season, scoring 2 goals in the last 30 seconds, and to see the kids rush the field and to see them celebrate that way reminded me why taking a risk and playing a sport that might not be your specialty is such an important thing.
When I started working here, I knew that I wanted to help children more in the emotional and social development piece.
There are many teaching methods that are used in Jemicy, but it starts with the teacher.
Teachers at Jemicy were world class. They took the time out of their day to really focus on me as an individual and my needs.
The small class sizes, the small tutoring sessions that really made us feel one-on-one and gave us a connection to teachers. And I think we were all able to thrive being in those close settings.
It's an opportunity to teach in an independent way. It's an opportunity to think on your toes. It's an opportunity to challenge yourself.
The teachers at Jemicy are the most amazing group of people I have ever had the privilege to work with.
We have numerous teachers that have been here for 10, 20, even 30 years.
Many of them could make much more money if they left Jemicy, but their passion, their commitment, their love, and above all, their belief in our students, they don't want to leave.
Every teacher that comes through our doors is always so appreciative of the time they spend here.
We honor teachers of the past, and we use those teachers as mentors for new teachers.
I still think at the core of what makes Jemicy special is its students and is its talented faculty.
And I went to school every single day, and I was excited because there was going to be something new. Joe Chittister was going to have some new contraption that he was going to put us in and spin us around.
The most memorable teacher would definitely be Joe Chittister. He was the science teacher.
I loved going to classes with him. I loved the science fair. I got to make ice cream. It was just, he was an amazing teacher all around.
Let's go hang kids off a cliff, which was his way of saying let's go rappelling. Or, let's go explore some physics, which was his way of saying let's go to Hershey Park and ride roller coasters. But those times with him are probably the most impactful. He was just a loving, incredible force in my life.
It's like having 143 grandchildren come to play with you every day. I mean, what can be better?
Roger Shaw was a phenomenal educator. I think the things that we learned in his classroom have probably stuck with me throughout my career as a student and even as an adult.
I look at Jemicy as a beacon of hope in so many ways. Jemicy was the place where I launched my career. It's the place where I learned what real high quality education for smart children with dyslexia could be.
Jemicy has a special relationship between the students and the teacher. It's a relationship of trust, of understanding, of caring.
And what I watched happen at Jemicy during those years is a lot of students make dramatic progress because they were in environments in which they felt safe and comfortable and smart and successful and challenged, and were held to very high standards.
We're partnering with neurologists and researchers to make sure that we're utilizing the best strategies and methods for teaching our children.
You are a Jemicy teacher because of what you bring into the classroom. That exuberance, that love of learning, that love of being around students is something that is non-teachable. You just have it in your body, in your soul, in your heart.
So that is still at the center of everything we do, all of our decisions. To this very day, go back to Joe's saying that the kids come first, and they truly do.
You're encouraged as a teacher to push boundaries, and that's something that comes from the administration and is absolutely upheld by every member of the community. You have to be willing to take chances, and you have to kind of put yourself on the line. That keeps the teacher on his toes, and I think for that reason, all of the teachers here are continually trying to get better at what they do.
There's not a person on either campus that you can't go to for assistance, for help, or to just help you kind of nurture an idea that you have, and that sets us apart.
Joyce Bilgrave was also very big in performing arts. So plays were a big part of the Jemicy landscape.
I think Jemicy has allowed my kids to shine. Both Ben and Chris were involved in the plays.
I had this drama teacher, Lisa Needle, and she would just put on the biggest performances ever, and I had a blast.
It's a completely cross-curricular class where they're learning history, math, English. They're learning everything in performing arts. They don't realize they're learning it because it's so much fun.
They have to read their scripts. They learn to read. They have to learn where to stand. They learn how to follow directions, choreographer. There's so many learning things go on in these productions that the children aren't even aware of it. And it amazes me that you can have fun and learn at the same time.
They were massive productions. We put so much into these Broadway-style shows that we would do, and it really boosted the self-confidence of all of the students and just made us feel really good about what we could accomplish because dyslexics are, so great at the arts.
All the big moments for me that just kind of take my breath away are watching a student go on that stage and perform, and just watching the joy they have coming off between acts after the show, watching the accolades they receive, just knowing that we've affected and touched someone to help them create a memory in life where they can be proud of that for years to come.
You are learning how to set goals. You are learning how to actually follow through on those goals, and you have a very finite amount of time to accomplish them. Once we get to a play or a dance performance, they have actually completed all the steps of getting through those goals, and they love it, and they're so excited. Dance is a way for me to connect with kids. The dance team started 15 years ago. Laura Quinn and Michelle Rosenthal used to come down to my classroom, and so during recess I would start to teach them dances, and it developed into a group of kids would come, and slowly it developed into what they called the dance team. And now I have 7 dance teams. We have 90 children on the dance team. We go on competitions. Every team has a competition once a year. We are undefeated. We have won every competition we've ever done. It's no audition. You don't have to have any dance experience. You don't have to have ever had a dance class. Every child who wants to be on the dance team can be. The dance team has really catapulted into something huge at Jemicy.
Jemicy instilled in me determination and confidence, and I am excited to give that to my child.
Jemicy has really been the place that I've established who I am in midst of an educational setting.
First walked into Jemicy, I knew that this was going to be the school that I was going to be at.
Jemicy from the get-go taught me how to advocate for myself and use my resources, and it really helped me thrive outside of Jemicy.
My husband went to school at Jemicy. I have spent my entire work life at Jemicy. All of my best friends in the world are people who went to school at Jemicy. Now my daughter goes to Jemicy.
It's the continual experience that I have of seeing the light bulb go on, of seeing it all come together.
Patients of mine who have followed over the years and have seen what they were able to do with their lives and move on, and for a pediatrician, that's pretty rewarding.
The experience of watching students go through barriers that have been struggles.
Just to watch that process of these small children we've seen running through our hallways going on to want to do things to inspire and entertain others along their way as well.
Watching them begin to understand and appreciate their talents, I think was probably one of the most rewarding things during my time at Jemicy.
The fundamentals of what that school is at the core will always be the same.
To see our students go from that struggle to that success, that's the greatest thing, and I witness it literally every day.
Every time that happens, every graduation is a moment of celebration.
It's remarkable the transformation that an education like this can give children who have those kinds of needs.
And this is what I think is so great about Jemicy. By the end, the students who are seniors here, they're more in love with the methods that we have at Jemicy than they were in 9th grade, almost across the board. Every single student loves it more because they've realized that with strategies in place that they can take on, dyslexia isn't an imposition, it's just a factor in their life.
It's amazing. You take a lot of the children who couldn't read at all, and now they're heads of major companies.
Everybody who goes here is just amazing in every way. Just everybody has their own skill here. That's why the school is so successful, because they create a person inside of you that's just going to thrive and be successful the rest of your life.
And I saw my children benefit and growing and not having the struggles and the pain that I had and other kids had without a school like Jemicy.
It's been a monumental, lifetime pursuit of good teaching, of fabulous interactions, and just an outstanding institution.
Jemicy is special.
Jemicy is a lifesaver.
It's nurturing, but with expectation.
Jemicy is happy.
It's safe.
Jemicy is talent.
Jemicy is joy.
Motivating.
It is colorful, it's bright, it's creative.
Jemicy is unique.
Jemicy is warm excellence.
Jemicy is love.
Jemicy is essential.
Jemicy is opportunity.
Jemicy is excellent.
Jemicy means to me compassion.
Jemicy is extraordinarily magical.
Jemicy is innovation. Jemicy is forever.
Jemicy is family.
If I had to sum up Jemicy in one word, it would be hope.